At week 19, your baby is developing their own fingerprints and they're also sucking their thumb. How cute. And you might also start to be feeling a couple of movements. That is your baby. I'm going to tell you all about baby's growth, baby's development, common symptoms that you might be feeling, and my experience. So let's jump into it. At week 19, your baby's the size of a mango. We're also measuring about 15 centimeters, so that's like the size of one of those like little smaller school rulers, you know, the ones that you have in your little pencil case. And they're also weighing about 240 grams. There are a few developments for baby this week. First of all, they've got some vernix. The vernix is this like sort of white, creamy, thick, greasy substance that coats their body. When they're born, they're covered in it. They look a little bit slimy, a little bit alien. Protects their skin against the amniotic fluid. The amniotic fluid is basically waste product, so like they're drinking it and then they're peeing it out. There's stuff going on in there, so they need to protect their skin. They're also having some big sensory developments as well. Their brain is developing rapidly, and their brain is also designating lots of different areas for all of the 5 major senses and sensory inputs. Fingerprints. Baby is also developing some finger and toe prints. So this was what makes our babies very unique and very cute. Last really fun development is that your baby has quite clear sleep and wake patterns at this point. They're sleeping for about 18 hours a day, moving around for 6. And this is quite similar to how your baby will be when they're a newborn. They just sort of sleep all the time, wake up for quite short bursts and then go back to sleep. So once you start feeling your baby's movements, you'll probably likely start to know when they're awake, when they're wiggling around, and when they're probably fast asleep. So let's talk bellies. The maternal body changes a lot in pregnancy. So things that you don't even realise happen. I'll put a list on the NHS website of the massive list of things that are probably going to happen at some point to you. But this week, it's probably likely that you're going to start feeling some round ligament pain. It's basically where your uterus is expanding and pushing out and stretching your skin. Personally, haven't had it as much this time around. I think probably because this is my second pregnancy. My body, she's a bit loosey-gooseier than she used to be. Lower back pain, unfamiliar with at this point. Your centre of gravity is shifting ever so slightly, and it can kind of pull your back in, and it can cause it to be a bit achy. There are also lots of hormonal changes. You have something called relaxin, which basically loosey-gooses your body up. However, it can also make you feel quite sore because your body isn't quite holding itself in the same structured way as it used to. Skin changes. You might be having a lovely pregnancy glow, but you might also have some acne. Something that can happen around this time. You can start to have the linea nigra. Don't quote me, I'm not a profesh, I'm just pregnant. Basically a line from like your belly button down to your like top of your pubic bone. You might also start to get some stretch marks as well. This is actually largely genetic. You can definitely try and use your creams and stuff, but I kind of have come to the conclusion if you're going to get it, you're going to get it. So let's talk some symptoms. I have kind of hinted at a few, like lower back pain, but a really fun one is that you might be feeling baby's movements by this point. Congestion and nosebleed. You can have some congestion here, it can be a little bit harder to breathe. I feel this in my core because since being in my second trimester, a little bit more of a mouth breather, especially at night, because basically the increased blood flow that you have in your body, increased blood flow to your mucous membranes, which can stuff you up. So loads of symptoms really. I'll put the big list here, and now I'm going to tell you my experience. I'm starting to feel tired. My boobs are very sensitive, very sore. It's like another bout of soreness. I'm still breastfeeding my toddler, 1.5-year-old. I haven't weaned him yet. Don't know what I'm going to do about that, but that's a whole other video. Basically, it's your boobs are getting bigger and then getting ready to produce milk, which is ironic because I'm already producing milk, so I don't really know what's going on. I have lower back pain. I still haven't really recovered from my first pregnancy. I had a lot of lower back pain, particularly in the 3rd trimester and postpartum, like at night time when I'd lie down. I'm sore and I'm uncomfortable. I'm also emotional, very up and down, and I don't know if it is the poor sleep that I'm also getting. Sleep is really difficult. I almost feel like I've got insomnia, like I'm just struggling to stay asleep, like I'm waking up. I don't know if it's like, it almost feels as if I've got cortisol in my body and I'm waking up out of stress. I also had extremely dry hands. Again, I think this is maybe because I'm breastfeeding as well. It feels a little bit niche. But the skin on my hands, incredibly crusty, dry. I just feel dried out. I feel like my body is just depleted. Speaking of being depleted, nausea. I feel nausea most days, retching, pins and needles in my legs. It takes ages for it to go away. What else happened to me? Glute cramps. I had it in my left bum cheek, my left glute, gluteus maximus, that was really uncomfortable, would not go away, and I don't know if it was the onset of like sciatica or whether it's just leg cramps and it's just an unfortunate place, I don't know. That has been my experience of week 19, maybe not as positive as some of the rest of the weeks. I'm hoping that we're on the up, I'm hoping that it gets better, but I kid, I am actually generally quite happy. We're here, we're grooving, we're growing babies. It's hard work, and it's also hard work when you've got a toddler as well, let me tell you. I would love to have you join me on your pregnancy journey. Please do let me know in the comments, have you had any of the symptoms that I've mentioned? How have you been finding your pregnancy journey? Are you okay? Please do hit subscribe, and I'll see you for week 20. Bye!